all, an official thanks to Dr. Atulya Mishra. One strange association with BIC is that our first formal meeting on 13th December 2022 happened to be his birthday also. So there is some kind of soul association. Now coming to our own association, it's about 50 years. Coming to BIC's format, we are not a literary body, literary circle. We are a generalized cum specialized body. In each sector, we have some focus. In literature, BIC has chosen to be focused on short stories and essays. That is the focus of BIC. As I was mentioning to him, that we do a survey first and then we decide what are the indices and intelligences of this particular area. And then we focus on one or two things. It's like jack of all and master of one or two. So BIC's focus of the literary section is short stories, essays. Apart from that, we invite people who are awarded bestsellers. In that sense also he qualifies. His book has won an award, Green Lit Fest Award, so he qualifies in that sense also. And the third thing is about genre. The genre that is best suited for Bhopal because it's basically a city of bureaucrats and managers, is faction. Faction is fiction cum fact. All his books have a basis in facts, experience plus imagination. So by that sense also, he matches the genre focus of BIC. Now, our association starts 50 years ago, around 78, roughly 50 years, not 78, 79. He was good at cross country. He was good at football, his house and other teams. He had a major role to play in my life also as far as my sporting revival is concerned. When I joined the school, I was a state champion here. But after joining my school, because there was no competition there, my level came down. So by the end of the school, I was not all that good. But when I went to Delhi, I was very depressed. So he was pestering me. Why didn't you participate? Why did you go in trials? Why did you go in trials? I said, no, I don't have any rackets. But he literally forced me. And then I borrowed a racket and I participated on a lark. And I got selected, later became captain of Stevens and all of that. But had he not pestered that day, so what that did to me was that all my depression, at least for those hours when I used to play, was gone. Everything else was secondary. So in that sense, we have a connection about sports. His father, all his sisters were from Bhopal. They became doctors from Gandhi Medical College. If I'm not wrong, his father's hostel was Jahanuma to begin with, as he told me initially. To begin with, Jahanuma Hotel initially was his father's hostel. That was long ago. So that is one relation. Then thereafter, he went into zoology and botany. On his first attempt, he managed to crack both IFS and IAS. Joined for a few months. Before he had to join IAS, he joined the Forest Academy also. Thereafter, he's done courses in Essex University, Texas, across the world. He's done in Tokyo. And after that, he's done a course in Terry University. From strength to strength, he's been going deeper and deeper into environment and related issues. Eventually, he's done a doctorate on carbon footing. Yeah. Carbon footprints. That's a path-breaking doctorate. And another interest that he had in school was in theatre. So there were seeds of literature there. There were seeds of environmental understanding here. Then, as things would have it, he got an opportunity to go into organization of sports. I still remember that initially, perhaps during his initial few years, he was with Ms. Uma Bharti. And if I'm not mistaken, SI wanted to open their thing in Lucknow, but Uma Bharti forced it to.
That's right.
So, that was the point. So he was there. So he got to know a lot about sports organization. So that seed also was sown there. And after that, he got various opportunities to organize the Chess Olympiad, the Under 19 Hockey World Cup, and various other things. So in a way, whatever transformation that you are seeing in Tamil Nadu these days, he has a major role to play in that. So much so that he traveled across this country, not being arrogant about that we know it all. In fact, he came to Madhya Pradesh also to look for how MP is doing. Though MP is not all that developed state, but we have very good academies. We don't have results, but we have very good academies. So I was quite surprised that why is he coming to MP? He went to Orissa, he went to all the states, took the best of each, plus they had their own improvisation. So after that, past couple of years, he's been totally focusing on these twin issues, on the environmental issues, on the book that he's got an award. He's written 3 books. This is his 4th book. And as the title says, that it is Olympic Quest. So now I just give him 15-20 minutes. I leave it to him. Wherever he feels comfortable, then we'll start interacting initially on this, since we had to make a plan for Bhopal on 26th. A sporting plan for Bhopal. So I thought we'll make a draft plan for Bhopal Sporting Vision 2047. The date was 26 January. So I thought if I could feed him a couple of biscuits and a cup of tea and pick his brains, I think, to use Trump's words, it'll be a good deal. So, with those words, I think I'll first ask him to give an overall vision of sports in the context of his book that's here, and then we'll interact. Then we will have inputs for Bhopal Vision, including whatever ideas we get to this.
Thank you, Shashi, for introducing me and calling me for this highly esteemed organization which you people are building up in Bhopal. You know, sports is one area where at personal level, at community level, at society level, there's a lot of value in development of human resource. But at international level, it is also related to national pride. It is the way you present your nation to the world. And it was happening that after, when India actually started participating in Olympics, that was pre-independence, India was fairly doing well. In fact, 9 times we got the hockey gold, which was not our game, it was Europe's game. And the British team, it so happened that the empire never sent its own team because they knew that India would beat them. So that was the situation prior to independence. And then post-independence also, we were doing well in certain games, but other nations took over. Olympics character changed, and today the situation is that we are primarily getting 6 to 7 medals in Olympics. Now, I got a chance to be a delegate to Paris Olympics, which happened in 2025. It's called 2024 Olympics. Prior to that, I was also a delegate, government appointed delegate to the Commonwealth in 2002. And we had organized ourselves the SAF Games, the Ever-Asian Games, the Commonwealth Games. So I had been associated with the sports administration and sports management and how sports work. The first thing which, when we talk about our dismal performance in sports, mainly in Olympics, there is one school of thought that, they generally say that we in India, we don't give too much of importance to sports, neither at community level or at emotional level, and parents are also not very keen for their children to get into sports. So it is not our area. Let us not talk about it. Let us just leave it. It is, but whenever we come back after a dismal performance, the same Indians, they feel sad also. So I was just trying to work out: is it possible, for India to really make a mark in Olympics? And now that we are thinking of hosting Olympics ourselves in 2036, we cannot be doing it with 71st position in the world. So this book is basically dedicated up to Olympic Games. It doesn't talk about other sports. It doesn't talk about cricket. It doesn't talk about the other major games which we have. For example, Kabaddi is a very big game for India. Kho-Kho is a very big game. Kushti is a very big game. But those games are not there in this book because they are not considered to be Olympic Games. So Olympic basically is 1008 medals. They are spread over 32 games, 48 disciplines, and 329 individual events. India surprisingly participates only in 16 games. India participates only in 69 events. So even at the participation level, we are just participating in 20% of Olympics. America, for example, the US, it sends almost 600 athletes for Olympics. Out of 10,500 Olympics, that is the kind of a ceiling they have put, that they cannot be Olympic with more than 10,500 athletes or sports persons. America sends 600 and they participate in all events. China, which is second in tally, they also send around 400 athletes participating in more or less every event. Then comes France, Germany, UK, South Korea. South Korea is the only country which doesn't send so many people, but still gets medals. So there's a variation, but the first thing is we have to participate in more games. If we don't participate in all the games, then under no probability we'll be able to be in the tally which we find to be comfortable. Now, where we have to reach? If we want to be in first 10, we need 30 medals. It is not that it is something which is very far-fetched and India is just nowhere. If we want to be in first 5, we require around 60 to 65 medals. So US, which tops the tally, got around 117 medals or so. China got 93. So getting 30 medals is not something which India can't do, or India can't quickly do. Now, the only thing is there's a mismatch between what we play at home and what is played in Olympics. One single girl from China gets 6 medals. And we as a contingent of around 118 people come back with 6 medals again. But problem is we are playing hockey. Hockey we can get only 1 medal. Whereas a swimmer can get 6 medals. There's American gymnast who gets 5 medals. So we have to actually strategize in Olympics. We cannot simply be doing our way of things and then specialize and do something very great in 2032. So that strategy is being talked about in the book. So what I've done is, how the book is structured, I'll tell you. I am basically a fiction writer. I'm not a textual writer, I'm not an academic writer. Although I got an opportunity to be the Vice Chancellor of the Sports University, which is the first sports university in Tamil Nadu, in the country, which is in Tamil Nadu. Now many other states are coming up. I think Madhya Pradesh is also coming up with a sports university. And So this is sports university gave me an opportunity to research about games. And the book is written in a way that we are conducting a seminar in the sports university. And for each of the 32 disciplines, there is somebody coming and giving a speech. And in that speech, they are telling about the game. Uh, because it's not textual, so it is a free-flowing speech. So it will have uh, the where the game evolved, the films associated with the game, the literature associated with the game, and the stories, the pebbles, all those things will be there. Then, because it is being held in India, they will tell something about how India can do well. And because it is held in Tamil Nadu, we will also be having how Tamil Nadu can do well. So that is how every lecture, we have been all used to conferences and seminars. When we call a guest lecture, that is the normal format he will follow. First he will introduce his subject, then he will try to link it to the place where he is, ultimately giving the lecture. So that is how the lectures go. And then there is one chapter on sports science, which I believe that unless we have proper sports science, we cannot win medals. For example, this medal which we lost in wrestling, it was a fault of the nutritionist. But actually, after she was already fighting in a lower category, weight category. She had to be very careful. And after the match, she was not properly advised about her nutrition. And that's why that 100-gram difference came. And similarly, there are sports science, sports injuries. So many people have lost their career because of sports injury, and they are just not able to come back. And there are many people who are able to come back again because sports science, because their rehabilitation has been very good. For example, Sharat Kamal had almost lost hope. He was totally finished, but it was rehabilitation science which brought him back. And today he is a Dhyan Chand awardee, and he is one of the greatest table tennis players of the country. So my idea is like what I have tried to. There is another chapter on doping and the abuse in sports. There is a chapter on Winter Olympics, Paralympics. So these are smaller chapters, but basically it is about Summer Olympics. And then I have found out some. Tried to we in Tamil Nadu did certain things. Like if you don't have infrastructure for 32 games, you cannot play 32 games. So when we are building our sports city, we are first starting with those infrastructures which are not there in the country. For example, we are coming up with a BMX. We are coming up with trap and skeet in shooting. Even Bhopal doesn't have trap and skeet. They have the shooting range, but doesn't have trap and skeet we are doing. So like we are trying to fill in those gaps. And so I just told some basic statistics about Olympics, because this book is only about Olympics. We are not talking about other games, and try to tell that what could be the reason why India is not doing well, and what could be the way by which India can do well. And actually Olympics require a military kind of strategy. So if you want medals, one is that we have to participate in those games where there are more medals. Even conducting Olympics in India will not do any help unless we are able to introduce games in which we can get medals. For example, when Japan did Olympics, what it did was, it brought in judo. And it brought in judo with 42 medals. Not one medal, two medals, 42 medals. They created categories, they created different formats of judo. South Korea did, they brought in taekwondo with 28 medals. And we are, struggling with hockey, one medal we can get ultimately. So what I'm saying is, in the medal tally, it is like more of a strategy where you plant yourself. When Paris did the Olympics, they brought in breakdancing. You'll be very surprised, breakdancing is an Olympic sport today. They brought in skateboarding. And they brought in large number of medals in that. So it is a little bit of strategy, little bit of planning which is required. BMX they brought climbing, which is actually artificial rock climbing. And we don't have these facilities at all in the country. For example, as I have just told you, first BMX we are building. We are building a skateboarding arena. We are building an artificial rock of Olympic size. And ultimately 113 medals of Swimming, we hardly have Olympic-sized swimming pools. Even swimming pools will be there, but they'll not be artificial Olympic-sized swimming pools. So our people are not getting trained in them. So those kind of facilities, there have to be all-weather swimming pools. In India, there is a problem of winters and summers and many things. People canoeing, kayaking, 70 medals, sailing, 32 medals. Like this, these are the games in which we have to apply our mind. Surfing. Now, surfing doesn't happen in sea waters. Surfing has to be learned in a simulation pool. And in entire Asia, there is only one simulation pool, that is in Saudi Arabia. So you can imagine, how can you put your children into surfing when you don't have the beginning pool itself? You can't just simply ask them, there's a general saying, we have so many fishermen, 7,000 kilometers of coastline. Why don't you put these children into, they will bring medals back to you. They can't bring medals. They have to first come to a simulation pool, which you have to build for them. So that is how Olympic works. So that is how the book goes. And then I have suggested some strategy. So I'll come to the strategy later. Many friends who have come. I would also like to know, maybe I'll ask you a question, maybe anybody can answer. What could be the strategy?
Sir, we have been doing well in shooting, for example. Bindra got the first. So shooting, even girls are doing better. So why don't you strategize shooting one? Number two, which is can be priority, is boxing and wrestling. Where we have been
all these three are high medal scoring.
That's
places.
what, that
Shooting
that
has shooting has 30 medals.
Because these are different categories and we have a chance of getting more medals in this.
Boxing has 52 medals.
Yeah.
So I know this wrestling has good medals. So
Yeah.
this could be a good strategy that we focus like the South Korea doing. South Korea sends a very thin, very small contingent and they try to get medals into those fields.
Yeah.
This is a good strategy.
Because
But
these three, we have been getting
this,
medals in that.
Sai actually is following.
That is one area.
But the problem is that unless you participate in all the games, you don't know where the talent is.
Yeah.
You can't be expecting only shooters to be good in India. There could be a possibility that what we have found from our experience that we are doing well in women sports and that too in low weight category.
Yeah.
In low weight category women sports, India is doing extremely well. In whether it's wrestling, whether it is judo, boxing, low weight women. This is somehow it is happening. So this is
Very interestingly, this fellow Aishwarya Singh, he does well in world games, but I don't know why he fails in Olympics. I don't know.
There's a difference here.
That's it.
So
What about
just
kabaddi? India can.
Kabaddi is not-
So why when Korea is doing taekwondo, Japan is doing.
no. Then you
judo,
have to host Olympics. For that you have to host Olympics. And in my opinion, kabaddi should not be brought in because kabaddi will give you only 2 medals.
नहीं, उसमें
In my
category
opinion-
ground, उसमें you can decide on the length of the ground. Punjab में like it is, they play a very big
Kabaddi
ground
first
also.
is getting kabaddi will be difficult because it is played with limited nations, and then getting more medals will be difficult because you have to go for those games in which you can either create weight categories or you can create more types. So in my opinion, if you ask me, I would rather say that we should bring in yoga. Yoga, there'll be more categories. Like squash, ultimately they are coming up with only 2 medals. Cricket again 2 medals.
no, first question
Now
about
that-
this: should we go your title? Should we go for it or not?
No, I think it's not a bad idea because we have 10 years to go.
Can be done.
But then you have to go with a strategy. You have to go
Yeah.
with a military
Understand?
kind precision. You
No,
cannot be.
preparing for it.
No, preparing meaning the kind of expenses. Do you think a host not having even double digits? So in that context, he was asking for 30. But do you think there's a realistic chance that from 2026 to 2036 we can jump from 1 to 10?
There is no country which has conducted the Olympics and not been in the first 5.
Okay.
And at least you should be in first 10.
Exactly.
And first 10 means 30 medals. So now coming, how we are trying to do it. First what we thought was, our sports budgets used to be hardly 300 crores. So first thing is you have to spend money. So we made it 2,000 crores. Our sports budget is higher than the government of India's sports budget.
Oh my
So
God.
that is how I'm telling you.
One state's budget.
Now, what we did was, we went around. We went to Odisha. Odisha is the best sports model in the country.
Yes.
What Odisha does is, the building is done by building, the asset and the infrastructure is being created by the government. And why they create, one is that capital is more, you require land, and third is you require compliances. Government can do it very well, whether it's pollution control compliance or electricity board compliance or anything. Infrastructure creation, government can do the best. Second part is running the infrastructure. That what they have done is they have found out a corporate. Reliance Foundation, Tata Foundation, JSW. These are the people who are doing the running of the asset. The third thing what they have done is they have not politicized it. They name the asset on an icon. For example, rifle, Narang, and they even take national icons. They don't only restrict to Odisha rifle. And then of course they sponsored the entire hockey team. Hockey was going to dogs. At that time Odisha came to help. So we went to Odisha, saw their system. But the flaw which we found in Odisha system was that they are doing the work which Sai should do. This is the work they are doing today. My athletes are getting trained in Odisha. Entire national athletes are getting trained in Odisha. So Odisha is not able to leverage that asset for their own people. So that is one issue which is happening. Haryana, for example, uses the entire Delhi infrastructure. Whatever is being created by Sai is being used by Haryana because of their proximity. We also came to Madhya Pradesh. We saw your Rifle Academy, we saw your Equestrian Academy. They are outstanding.
Best academy.
But again, they are being used by the country.
Yes.
Today, most of the shooting, even Tamil Nadu children, they are coming and they are more or less living here
Yes.
and getting their training. Same as equestrian. If any equestrian worth his salt has to learn equestrian, they have to come here.
Good shooting.
So that is how it is. So what we did was also that, Tamil Nadu being a fairly big state, we have created 4 Olympic academies and 1 global sports city. So that is where the main money went. And what we did was that there we are starting with those games which are low hanging fruits. Like what I was telling you, BMX, skateboarding, climbing, instead of going for the team games where of course they will be. And secondly, what we are doing is we are learning something from Paris. Don't create too much of permanent infrastructure. For example, these visitors galleries. You don't have to, now Gujarat has created a cricket stadium for 1 lakh people. You will not be able to get, other than India-Pakistan match, you will not be able to get 1 lakh people. So, and then the size of the stadium also, there is a limit to size. A good cricket stadium of 30,000, 40,000 people, you can see the players. With 1 lakh, you only see dots. So these are also practical problems. You have to come with a telescope in the stadium. So what I'm trying to say is that we are learning from each state, and we are putting up. Now, for example, we are building up an international cricket stadium in Coimbatore, and we have done one hockey stadium in Bhopal, in Madurai. And both places, what we did, we created some permanent gallery, and the rest of the gallery we are doing temporary. Whenever the match is there, we put up the gallery. After that, just like your tent city of Kumbh, it is just moved on. So it is not necessary to keep it all the time. But that is another thing. So all the games are being taken in. Then what we have done is getting corporate help in sports is little tricky, because the CSR doesn't provide promotion. If I am if I want to promote cricket, that money will not be a part of CSR. That has to be in your advertising. So the companies are finding it very difficult, to support many of these events and all that. So what we did was we created a Tamil Nadu Champion Fund. And this fund, what we do is we ask the companies to pass on the money here. And we brought Dhoni as our brand ambassador. And Dhoni is big in Tamil Nadu. It is so big you can't even imagine. So when he came, immediately we started getting money. We also did a lot of crowdfunding. So, people could just scan through Google Pay. People are paying 100 rupees also for that fund. So that fund, the advantage is sometimes you don't have government schemes. For example, there is a concept called Dwarf Olympics. Now, a boy wanted to go for Dwarf Olympics. There is no scheme under which we could send him because even the federation doesn't
Meant for dwarfs.
Dwarfs.
Heard
So
of it.
there is, and it is under the Indian International Olympic Committee charter. It is not one of those, some hanky-panky job. It is a pakka Dwarf Olympics. So Dwarf Olympics, this boy wanted to go, and there was no scheme by which we could send. It was not even he was not coming in differentially abled. But somehow, TNCF we could give. He came back with 3 gold medals. So what I'm trying to say is that these are areas where you can send people. A lot of money is being spent for differentially abled games, inclusive games. We are able to buy big equipment. One major problem in India today is we don't have Olympic equipment manufacturing in India. For example, a sailing boat. The entry-level boat is imported for around 10 lakh rupees. Archery, the basic archery, 1.5 lakh rupees. Everybody cannot afford it. We have to do the manufacturing here.
Even guns, even pistol and all,
they are all imported. So somehow shooting, and shooting, that's why it has become rich man's game. And you see surfing, you require that. Pole vault, your pole vault costs around 1 lakh rupees. A single pole. So everybody cannot afford it, and a javelin will cost 50,000 rupees. So those manufacturings have to come here. So we did this, and there is a high cash incentive system. We Tamil Nadu, for example, today have out of the 91 grandmasters in India, 35 are from Tamil Nadu.
There's one particular school is famous. Available school is
And
famous.
one school, most of them are coming from one school. So ultimately, strategizing is not very difficult in sports. Now I will tell you the planning, how it works is that basically it needs money. So one is that we tend to believe that sports is something to do with government. This is the first anomaly with sports. Sports have nothing to do with government. Because, for example, you have been a badminton player. The badminton player, the rules of badminton are decided by Badminton Association. The player selection is done by Badminton Association. The court size is decided by you. The shuttle is decided by you. The attire will be decided by you. Where is the government coming?
Money.
No, that's what I'm saying. Money for what? Money for bringing laurels. So ultimately what is happening in India is that we are not having that kind of a symbiosis with federation. Even where we are having a big stadium, ultimately it is being run by a stadium officer. And it is very intimidating to get into a stadium. You try getting into a stadium, you will find the intimidation. So what we are doing is that we are trying to bring all these things online. So if you want to book a stadium, you can just go online now. You want to go for a pickleball game in Tamil Nadu, you can go into a pickleball or a badminton or tennis court in Tamil Nadu by going into an app called Turf. You just book yourself, pay money there, and you can just show up. Nobody is going to stop you. So that is how we are removing. And then ultimately it has to be government. One work which we have to do is we have to do mass mobilization in sports. So what we did was we did a thing called CM Trophy Games. And CM Trophy Games, it was online participation, 33 games. First year we got 4 lakh participants. Second year what happened was we got 16 lakh participants. So our stadiums were full, And then there are other games, like I'm just coming out of Olympic because this came in Asian Games. Once a game comes in Asian Games, there's a possibility of, for example, E-Games. India is just not rising up to E-Games. Today, the prizes, the prize money which is there in E-Game is more than Wimbledon. So people are going there. But we don't have, systems to really promote it. It is, now Indian International Olympic Committee is looking very closely towards E-Game. Singapore is doing well, China is doing extremely well, Hong Kong is doing well, Saudi is doing well. So these are the countries where E-Games are very popular and there's huge viewership. We conducted E-Games in Tamil Nadu. We thought we will do it in our indoor stadium with a capacity of around 7,000 people. 1 lakh people came. We did not know how to manage the crowd, after a while. So these are the games which are also coming up. We have to go for the new games. Like breakdance has become a game now. So the Gen Z, they also have their own games. There are many urban games which are coming up, like skateboarding. Skateboarding is a completely urban game. And the feeling that sports has something to do with rural India is also a very big folly. Most of the sports is being done in urban centers. Maharashtra is doing well because it is urbanized. Tamil Nadu is doing well because it is urbanized. Delhi is doing well. Haryana is doing well because it takes. And Odisha, after all infrastructure, is not able to do well because it is not urbanized. So this is again some kind of a anomaly, or you can say some semblance which is happening between urbanization and sporting, and rightly or wrongly. But coming back to strategy, the first strategy should be, which is, for example, I'll just tell you, Tamil Nadu never used to give a lot of IAS officers to the country, other than those 60s when TN Session and their colleagues were there. After that, it used to be just average numbers. Then what we did was, Tamil Nadu Public Service Commission, it used to conduct the exam for the, what you call the SDMs and the people who get promoted to the IAS. We made the exam same as UPSC. Same subjects, same, prelim first, mains later. And then suddenly we found that, and there was a batch some 4-5 years back, in a batch of around 60-65 IAS officers, there were 20 from Tamil Nadu. So you can imagine, just strategizing how things can change. Here what is happening is, we don't have national games first. National games happen once in 4 years, 3 years. Now, for last 2 games have happened in time. And we don't play all the Olympic games in national games. So first thing we have to do is, our national games should be a true copy of Olympic games. And they should be held once in 2 years or once in a year. Even holding it in once in a year, ultimately it is held by Indian Olympic Association. So they should hold it every year.
Every year, actually.
And even if government money is needed, government should provide money. And it should be the ditto copy of Olympic Games. Why should we be having Q games why should we be having Atya Patya in national games? These games are never going to become Olympic Games. So why do we unnecessarily waste our time and energy? So that is one suggestion which I have. And I feel that Indian Olympic Association, below Indian Olympic Association, every state has their own Olympic association, like MP Olympic Association, Tamil Nadu Olympic Association, Haryana Olympic Association. They should also be told that you will also have to conduct a similar game as Olympics for your state. And that should be the hierarchy. If you can't do it at district level, that is, of course, infrastructure creation will be very difficult. But at least the states. And for example, there will be some states where the infrastructure will not be available. They can borrow infrastructure. Today, when we conduct Khelo India, the gymnasium equipment, all equipment move from one state to the other. It is just borrowed, because every state doesn't have that wherewithal to create the entire infrastructure. So these are the, and the most important thing, what happened is that ultimately, when we wanted nuclear science, what did we do? We sent our people abroad. We are trying now foreign coaches. We are trying expert coaches. We are trying to create academies. But the problem is, when a foreign coach comes to India, he comes here for tourism. I'm being a little blunt. He actually comes here for tourism. He is neither carrying his culture, nor carrying, because he doesn't have that culture prevailing here. The idea should be now, when we went to Paris Olympics, I went to India House. I thought India House will be, my ambassador colleague will be there, so I was wearing proper dress and all that and going there. It was being run by Reliance. It was totally being run by Reliance. So now corporate is taking over. It is coming out of the government, and it needs to be coming out of the government. So what the corporate should do is, in every 329 events, take help of the federation, select some 100 children between the age of maybe 10 to 16, and send them to the best of the academies in the world. Today we have Anat Singh because she is being trained in Spain. Vishwanath Anand because 20 years he spent in Spain. Vijay Amritraj because he lived his life in America.
Yes.
They are Indians, but they cannot be created here. You couldn't have created C.V. Raman sitting in India. You couldn't have created Khurana sitting in India. They got Nobel laureates because they went to the best of the universities and they got the environment and they flourished there. So idea should be, if you really want to have numbers, instead of importing coaches, you have to export.
Yes.
And Japan has done it very successfully. China is doing it successfully. Today Chinese gymnasts are being trained in America. They are not being trained in China. So our corporates should be told, you work with the federations, find out children who are, able to do it. If the corporates are not putting money here, putting money by government is not a big deal today. How much money you require? If you spend 1,000 crore per event also, you just require 32,000 crores. It's not a big deal for government. Either corporates come, but corporates will have one advantage. There will be no tendering. There will be no quotations from academies. They will find out an academy and they will put their children there. They will not be audited. There will not be an AG. So that will be the advantage. So these are some of the suggestions I have. It is very much possible. It is ultimately doing well in 329 events. 1.47 billion cannot do it. You just require 30,000 people to do it. You have to create 30,000 people who will play this game. You don't, it is not that everybody has to be into that league. Find out, figure out, put money, put resources, and put the people to job, and it will be done. So I find it to be quite a positive scenario. The only thing is it has to be strategically done. There should be some system in this madness, and it will be possible.
I think we'll just sort of round up this session with, as I gather, that even from Madhya Pradesh, he learnt a few things, at least about academies, if not the performance. So that is one point. In that, if I could ask you a question, that immediately if Madhya Pradesh had to learn something from Tamil Nadu, what are the one or two steps which are doable?
One is that you will, what I didn't find in Madhya Pradesh was that there are not many support schemes for the athletes. For example, a person who is into sports, they also, thank you, they have to spend a lot of money in their sporting circuits. So, anybody who's, what we have done is, we have divided our sportsmen into three categories. The Olympic prospects have been called the elites. They are called elite. The other one is called MIMS, that is second category of a sportsman. The third category of sportsmen, we have called them CDS, that is Champion Development Scheme. And fourth category, we are working for the sub-juniors. So for every category, we are giving them certain amount. For elite, we are giving them 30 lakhs. And for others, we are giving them slightly lesser money. And this is in addition to what Government of India support is. So, for example, when Gukesh won the World Cup, World Championship, Chess Championship, you know what is the amount of money which he was given by Tamil Nadu government alone? 7 crores was given to him. That is the kind of money we are dealing in. So, if you really want these guys to be working in that environment, you require huge amount of money. So one is that the support schemes have to be, and secondly, government jobs. Athletes look towards government jobs.
Yeah.
I don't think there is any state which is taking it very seriously. They create quotas and all, but nobody gives them jobs. Last time, we had the same system, but we used to give only some 10, 12 athletes every year jobs. But this time we have given 109 people. I'm not talking about police jobs and all. That constable job is not the job which I'm looking to telling you. I'm talking about public sector jobs. I'm talking about job as in registration department, jobs in revenue department. Those kind of jobs we have given 109, which is the highest any state has done in any country, in the country. In fact, getting now sports people is getting, we are finding it difficult.
To ask him reframe the same question. Just give me 2 points, one each. If you had all the money in the world and all the facilities, do you really think India can win? India can be a sporting superpower? That's one question. And if you had no money, nothing, right now, current situation, what is one thing that you will do?
Yeah, you can't do sports without money. There is no
Yes.
way.
But if you had all the money,
That is just impossible because. But if you have all the money, I would certainly, if you want quick results, I would export my sports persons to the best of the academies in the world. I will not try to create too much of botheration for each of us. I will just simply say, ask either the government or the corporate or the federations to find out which are the best academies and put 100 children each. Because if you just send one or two, the problem is they feel homesick, they are younger. Yeah.
If we can do it in cricket, why can't we do it in other sports?
No, cricket
The
also.
infrastructure is the same, the talent is the same, everything is the same. Not everybody can afford a 20,000 bat, that is a basic bat. Ball costing 1,000 rupees, coaches costing thousands of rupees. Why can't we do it in other sports?
Cricket has been a part of Indian psyche for a very, very long time. Cricket is not a game like canoeing. Cricket is not a game like rowing. Cricket is a game in which all of us have been, more or less born and brought up. Our grandparents talked about cricket. Our parents talked about cricket. We talk about cricket. Our children talk about cricket. It's a part of our ethos. So let us don't confuse cricket with other games. What we have done in cricket is, after 1983 only, cricket became formidable in India. Only this year, previously, when I was in the Arjun Award committee, and when a women cricketer had to be given some Arjun Award, Kapil Dev was insisting, he was the chairperson. And other people were considering women cricket not to be the real cricket. It's only now, after winning the World Cup, women cricket is being taken seriously. So what I'm saying is that there are some games, even hockey I would say. Hockey and cricket are a part of our culture, are part of our ethos. All of us have played it, but none of us have played rowing, None of us have gone for canoeing, none of us have done archery, none of us have done even shooting. So those games are a little different. You will have to get expertise from abroad if we have to be serious about those games.
Achha, what about the big check which is given after the match? Is it real or
What is it?
the big check?
It
they
is sent
give?
to the bank cash.
Is it real? Ye we have just
Every political executive wants to make the best out of
I'll just wind this up with something which I wished on his birthday on 13th when he retired. That using a sports parlance, like in 50 over match, the general equation is that whatever runs you score in first 30 overs, generally as many runs are scored in the next 20 overs. You generally double the scores. So that is the wish I gave to him, that whatever work you've done in 40 years now, in the remaining 40 years of your life, you must do double the work. When he hits a century of his life, that was my birthday wish. With that, we will end this session with a small formality that we have for all the guests. We'll make him an honorary member. He has to come twice before he becomes a full-time member, and we give a memento. Preeti? Sure. Please.
This is
Old boys.
my book. I just wanted.
I've got a Kindle edition, but this is always worth it. Thank you very much. 2 लोगों का इस कमरे में मेरी स्पोर्टिंग एबिलिटी से कनेक्शन था. इन्होंने ज़बरदस्ती कर करके मुझे वापस रिवाइव किया एंड आई रीच्ड अ फेयरली गुड लेवल. लेकिन एक और व्यक्ति है इस कमरे में, हम लोग साथ खेलते थे, वो 50 से भी पहले की बात है, है ना?
मैं बैडमिंटन सब खेल चुका
हाँ,
हूँ.
तो हम लोग कहाँ से बात शुरू होती है, वो कहाँ से बात शुरू हुई थी. मैं तो आई वॉज नॉट इन टू स्पोर्ट्स, पढ़ाकू टाइप आदमी था, तो थोड़ा सा ब्रोंकाइटिस की प्रॉब्लम थी, तो मुझे भेज दिया करते थे. बहुत छोटा था, लेकिन कभी वो मुझे कोच खिलाते नहीं, बाकी करके रखते थे. तो मुझे याद है कि हम लोग राजनांदगांव गए, मुझे एज ए स्टेपनी ले गए. राजनांदगांव में ही इज़ ऑल्सो गॉन. मैं कोई बहुत अच्छा खिलाड़ी नहीं था, ज़बरदस्ती ना स्टेपनी। एंड आई वाज सो नर्वस, मुझे दिग्विजय स्टेडियम याद है अच्छे से कि मैं दोनों गेम 0 से हारा। उस समय 15 का गेम होता था एंड ऑल ऑफ दीज पीपल मेड अ लॉट ऑफ फन, मतलब मेरा तो मतलब वैसे भी छोटा था, बुली करते थे सब लोग। अब उसमें क्या हुआ कि बहुत बुलिंग चल रही थी, उसी बीच में कुछ थोड़ा शोर शराबा हुआ। वो शोर शराबा क्या हुआ, वो बुलिंग से ध्यान हट गया मेरे उससे, बट दैट आई टुक टू माई हार्ट। उस दिन लिख लिया कि नेक्स्ट ईयर मैं स्टेट का चैंपियन होऊंगा, जबकि ये लोग खिलाते नहीं थे बाकी मुझे लोग। धक्का मार दिया, लेकिन उसी वक्त क्या हुआ कि शोर वो हुआ तो मालूम पड़ा कि एक साहब हैं जो एक बड़े स्कूल में जा रहे हैं। तो मुझे नहीं पता कौन है कौन, तो वो ये थे, इनका हल्ला मचा कहीं जा रहे हैं। आई डिडंट नो कि नेक्स्ट ईयर मैं भी वहाँ आने वाला हूँ। आई थॉट कि मेरी जान छूटी, ये जा रहा है कहीं, कोई जा रहा है, सब लोगों का ध्यान मुझसे हट के इसको कंग्रेचुलेट करने में लग गया।
मैं वहीं से निकल गया।
तो अब मुझे लगा कौन क्या है। नेक्स्ट ईयर मेरे टीचरों ने यहाँ धक्का मारा, दैट यू आर मेंट फॉर बिगर थिंग करते, मुझे कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा। 10 ईयर 11 ईयर ओल्ड बॉय, क्या समझ में आएगा। तो जब मुझसे बहुत कुछ पूछा तो मुझे एक ही स्कूल का नाम याद था, मुझे दिल्ली कॉलेज नहीं पता था, कुछ नहीं पता था। तो नेक्स्ट ईयर आई लैंडेड अप देयर। सो हमारा बैडमिंटन कनेक्शन वहाँ से था। सो आई कंसिडर हिम अ लकी मैस्कट कि सिंधिया कनेक्शन भी, क्योंकि अगर मुझे वो स्कूल का नाम याद नहीं होता, आई नेवर न्यू कि मैं वहाँ जाने वाला हूँ नेक्स्ट ईयर। एंड नेक्स्ट ईयर आई बिकेम स्टेट चैम्पियन। और उसके बाद बताया कि व्हेन आई वेंट टू सिंधिया द कंपटीशन वाज लो, तो माय लेवल केम डाउन। दिल्ली में वापस इन्होंने रिवाइव कराया, तो फॉर दैट ही इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट। मैंने छोड़ दिया था, बट देयर आई बिकेम चैम्पियन अगेन। और इधर ये थे। नाउ आई कम टू भोपाल, कि भोपाल का जो हम लोग है भोपाल इंटरनेशनल सेंटर, पूरे जितनी चीज़ें सरकार को हम लोग पहले व्यक्ति हैं। तो जब ये मेट्रोपॉलिटन जो भोपाल बना है वो हम ही ने पुश किया था। अब उसमें मेट्रोपॉलिटन का इनिशियल ड्राफ्ट हम लोगों ने बना के दिया था। बाद में देन गवर्नमेंट कम्स इन, विजन हम लोग बनाते हैं, थॉट लीडर्स, देन गवर्नमेंट कम्स इनटू प्लान एटसेट्रा, एक्ट वगैरह, देन दे आर मास्टर्स। वो चीज़ें करना जो क्योटिक हैं समय से पहले, तो विजन हम बनाएं, सिलेबस दिख गया इनको, देन यू कांट बीट इंडियन मैनेजर्स एंड ऑफिसर्स वर्ल्ड वाइड। तो हम लोगों ने वो बनाया। उसके बाद हमने 2 और चीज़ें बनाई, एक एजुकेशन का और एक हेल्थ का। नाउ वी वांटेड टू मेक अ स्पोर्ट्स विजन फॉर 2047, क्योंकि मेट्रोपॉलिटन एरिया बन रहा है भोपाल के लिए, उसके लिए इनपुट चाहिए थे। तो आई थॉट वी कुड लर्न फ्रॉम हिम। और दूसरा एक, यू माइट बी अवेयर कि अहमदाबाद को 2030 के कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स अलॉट हो गए। अगर हम ठीक से लॉबी करते हैं, जैसे मैंने एक बात बोली कि you might fail in studies, you might fail in anything, but I do not consider anyone a public school boy unless he has some interest in sports. वो खेले ना खेले, unless he plays sport, unless he appreciates sports, उसको मैं पब्लिक स्कूल नहीं मानता। बाकी तुम जो मर्जी कह लो, you could be, but अगर पब्लिक स्कूल वाले स्पोर्ट्स में नहीं करते, they might not be champions. और दूसरी ये बात थी कि अगर पब्लिक स्कूल वाले, they must take part in पब्लिक इश्यूज। तो इसीलिए मुझे लगा कि स्पोर्ट्स से शुरुआत करते हैं। तो अगर हम लोग ठीक से सरकार को देते हैं, तो भोपाल हैज़ लॉट ऑफ फैसिलिटीज़ के यहाँ हम लोग कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स के 2, 3, 4 स्पोर्ट्स तो ऐसे हैं, जैसे हॉकी हुआ, वाटर स्पोर्ट्स हुआ, शूटिंग हुआ, इक्वेस्ट्रियन हुआ, और अहमदाबाद से बहुत दूर भी नहीं है, और अब तो वो अलॉट ही हो चुके हैं। दिस हैज़ बिन अलॉटेड। तो व्हाई नॉट वी ट्राई। हम सरकार को पूरा पहले से बोलें कि पुश करो, अब वो पूरा कर लेंगे, अलॉट कर लेंगे, उसके बाद बोलेंगे यार। तो सारी बात हमने यही की है कि हम लोग सरकार को पहले सलाह देते हैं। सरकार ने पूरी बिल्डिंग बना ली, अब उसके बाद सरकार अपने पास क्या छोड़ती है? इंटीरियर डिज़ाइन। नाउ यू कांट चेंज द स्ट्रक्चर। हम कच्चा पक्का बोले, हम एक बोले ना, तो ये 2 चीज़ें हैं। 2047 का हुआ, उसके लिए भी आई विल आस्क हिम। एरिया बढ़ रहा है, हमारे 5 जिलों में जुड़ रहा है, तो ये लोग बड़े स्केल पे बना रहे होंगे, हम लोग क्या छोटे स्केल पे ये लोग बना रहे हैं ग्लोबल ओलंपिक सिटी। क्या हम छोटी सी एक स्पोर्ट्स सिटी यहाँ बना सकते हैं क्या? बिल्कुल आइडिया है पॉसिबल। और फैसिलिटीज़ जितनी हैं हमारे भोपाल में, आपको जैसे पता होगा कि भोपाल हैज़ मोर एस्ट्रो टर्फ देन दिल्ली, आफ्टर ओडिशा भोपाल हैज़। और उसके बाद जो हॉकी का हाल हुआ है, मैं उसके बहुत डिटेल्स में नहीं जाऊँगा, फैसिलिटी की कोई कमी नहीं है। तो मैंने जगह जगह से लोगों से पूछा, एक हमको खंडहर, हम लोगों को लगता है इनको दुख होता होगा, मुझे दुख होता होगा, जब मैं वो BHL के स्पोर्ट्स कॉम्प्लेक्स से वहाँ से निकलता हूँ, तो उसको पीछे करके अगर उसका PPP मॉडल में कुछ शुरुआत जिंदा कर सकते हैं, वहाँ पे लोग दिखाई देने चाहिए। अलाउ देम टू यूज इट यार. मतलब हम पुश करें हमारी बात, जैसे मेट्रोपॉलिटन वाली बात हमारी मानी, CPA रिवाइव करना हमारी, तो 10, मेरा एक्सपीरियंस है कि 15-16 जब बातें देते हैं उनको, तो एक आध बात तो मानी जाती. बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस दे कॉपी फ्रॉम अदर स्टेट्स. तो भोपाल सेंट्रिक ये दो चीज़ें हैं, 2047 मेट्रोपॉलिटन प्लान एंड कॉमनवेल्थ गेम्स. क्या इसके लिए भोपाल को पिचिंग करने में बहुत सीखेंगे, तो एक वो कर सकते हैं. तो एक तो जो हमारे ट्रेडिशनल हुए हॉकी होता था, वन एस्पेक्ट आई डोंट नो वेदर ही नो, डू यू नो इन चेस भोपाल हैज़ अ मच सीनियर कनेक्शन, मच ओल्डर कनेक्शन देन चेन्नई. आपको तो नाम मालूम ही है, रफीक खान. बट पॉइंट इज देयर इज अ लेगेसी. तो वो उसमें हो सकता है क्योंकि यहाँ लोग बाहर खेलते थे, हमारे खुले में खेलते थे. ये दो चीज़ें अपनी हो गई. तीसरा एक टूटा फूटा हमारा मड रैली है. तो मड रैली के साथ थर्ड रैली भी कुछ जोड़ सकते हैं कि मतलब दोनों को कुछ कंबाइन करने वाला ऐसा कुछ हो सकता है. वाटर स्पोर्ट्स हमने बोल ही दिया है. एक और ये स्ट्रैटेजी की ज़्यादा बात करते हैं बिकॉज मैनेजर्स एंड ऑफिसर्स दे डू दीज थिंग्स बेटर. वी वर्क ऑन विजन विच इज़ नॉट ऑन डेटा, इट इज़ एब्स्ट्रैक्ट. अगर विजन की बात सुननी हो आपने, तो मुझे लगता है, सी द बैकग्राउंड हियर, भोपाल कुड बी ए ग्रेट सेंटर फॉर विमेन स्पोर्ट्स. पूरे इंडिया में कहीं देख लीजिए, स्पोर्ट इज अनदर फॉर्म ऑफ, इज वॉर इन अनदर वर्ड्स. पूरे इंडिया में कहीं रानियां, एक रजिया सुल्तान को छोड़ दीजिए, अहिल्याबाई से लेके झांसी की अगर रानी भी देख लीजिए, अपना ही एरिया है, सारे भोपाल, दुर्गावती, देयर इज समथिंग अबाउट दिस सेंट्रल हार्टलैंड. लाइटर वेट वाली मणिपुर की बात है. तो जो मैं ये बात कह रहा था कि अगर सारे पैसे दे दिए जाते फिर भी नहीं आते, देयर इज समथिंग कॉल्ड अनडूएबल. एटलीस्ट टिल 2047 आई एम सेइंग यू गिव 10 times द मनी. इंडिया में 100 मीटर्स का क्वालिफायर भी नहीं हो सकता, चैंपियन तो छोड़ दीजिए. देयर आर इंडिसेस, आपके इंडिसेस और आपकी इंटेलिजेंसीज. फैसिलिटी आप खुद बता दिया उड़ीसा में ज़्यादा है, लेकिन 4% पॉपुलेशन वाला हरियाणा 40% मेडल कैसे ला रहा है? Even if they are using Delhi's this thing, there is some connection between warrior class and हॉकी वाले वहाँ से क्यों आते हैं. हाँ, तो वो भी देखना है. तो भोपाल का अगर आपको लगता है कि विजन दिया जाए, तो इनसे क्या सीख सकते हैं और क्या क्या इनपुट दे सकते हैं, वो आप थोड़ा अगर विजन बनाना हो.
हेलो सर, जैसे भोपाल में स्टेडियम अपना तो बना न्यू मार्केट में टीटनगर स्टेडियम, इफ यू सी द एथलेटिक्स the track which was made, I don't think it was much used by schools or.
अच्छा आइडिया मिला. अगर ऐप से हो जाए यूज, जो बताया इनके यहाँ हो रहा है इतना.
जो उन्होंने बोला ना कि स्टेडियम्स में एंट्रेंस नहीं मिलता लोगों को ना, they don't get into that sports. Secondly, मैं अभी मेरे भतीजे की डॉटर, she is just 3 years old, so just talking to her, she has gone for gymnastics 3 years in Indore. I was wondering, I remembered my school कि हॉर्स शो पे काम करते थे बच्चे, जिमनास्टिक्स ये सब होता था, लेकिन इतनी कम एज पे नहीं. तो जिमनास्टिक्स इज द मोस्ट हाईएस्ट मेडल गेनिंग स्पोर्ट, जिमनास्टिक्स, स्विमिंग. तो ये सब के लिए बहुत बड़ी फैसिलिटीज नहीं चाहिए, लेकिन उनका प्रमोशन चाहिए. तो प्रमोशन नहीं हो रहा है अपने स्टेट में भी, और कहीं ना कहीं पे स्कूल लेवल्स पे जो शुरुआत होनी चाहिए नर्सरी की, वो बहुत कमज़ोर है अपने यहाँ. उसको बहुत स्ट्रांगली करना पड़ेगा. फिर सर ने बोला कि स्पोर्ट्स वालों को वो इंसेंटिव नहीं मिलता. I met a team when I was coming back from some, and they were all from Bhopal Sai Sports. They were girls from nearby areas, Sihor and all that areas. तो वहीं पे पढ़ते हैं, वहीं पे they are canoeing में हैं, मतलब बोट रोइंग, ये सब जो भी एक्टिविटीज़ हैं वाटर स्पोर्ट्स की. तो उनका एक बड़ा वैलिड पॉइंट था बच्चों का. बोले हम यहाँ स्कूलिंग के बाद हम लोग छोड़ देंगे, नेशनल चैम्पियंस हैं, अच्छे मेडल्स जीते हैं, क्यों छोड़ देंगे? बोले पढ़ाई तो यहाँ होती नहीं है, क्योंकि हम लोग को सिर्फ एक एग्जाम पास करना है, इसलिए उतना पढ़ाया जाता है. तो वी डोंट हैव अ करियर रिगार्डिंग एनी अदर ऑप्शन विच कम्स फ्रॉम स्टडीज. सो वी आर फ्रॉम स्पोर्ट्स. बोले हमको कोई भी कंपनी को जॉब दे देती है, हम उन कंपनी के लिए फिर खेलते रहते हैं, हमारा जीवन यापन चलता रहता है. दैट इज द थॉट.
Sir, I would like to add on to this. Because I am from school and whatever he said, sir, I own an educational institute. So what he said rightly, that the schools do not promote sports. In today's time, because I am a sports person, I was a sports person. I promote sports, but generally parents do not encourage children to go for sports from an early stage. Like he said that his niece was 3 years old. And if we ask any child or any parent to put child in a particular sport, they discourage. They say that you put here the child in a creative skill or some other activities, but not in sports, because we don't want our children to become that, what do I say, stiff. But we try to convince the parents that sportsmanship doesn't mean that your child will become very bulky or something like that, or muscular. It means that they learn how to face the failures, and it helps them to deal with the challenges or failures coming on their way,
Very
right?
important.
Right? So we try to convey, but being an agricultural belt, Madhya Pradesh being an agricultural belt, is very challenging to convince parents, though they can spend a lot of amount. Second point, coaches, which you're talking about, that they are not given the incentives. I will come to SAI, Sports Authority of India. They have such a lovely hockey turf, right? We have been hosting CBSE clusters for the last 3 years. And this year I struggled like anything. They denied at the last moment because they didn't get the permission from the center. That is Delhi, right? Why? What have you built it for? What have you built it for? And it's not only hockey, there are many facilities, same as TT Nagar Stadium which you're talking about. There are many facilities and they do not allow schools to participate or use those facilities. So where the younger generation being exposed?
The unfortunate part in India is, पढ़ोगे लिखोगे बनोगे नवाब खेलोगे कूदोगे कोई, तो हमारा चरित्र नहीं है कि खेलने कूदने में हम कुछ करें.
Problem. Every day coaching classes. तीसरी दूसरी क्लास से आपके coaching classes में जाना शुरू कर. What kind of culture we are going? The first thing which I want to tell you is that sports is an integral part of economy. So we are not able to realize it, but sooner or later we will have to realize. Today, world GDP, most of the nations, around 1% of their GDP is in sports. In India, it is 0.1%. 0.1%. And we can't be, we will not be left behind. We will have to go towards 1%. 2047, it is expected that our sports proportion in the GDP will be around 2%. And the growth in jobs in sports is 20% year after year.
20% increment year after.
Every year. So in 5 years, they double. Similarly, the GDP growth is around 15% in sports. So these are parameters, wide parameters. But no society can ignore it. Whether we put our children in sports, whether we don't put our children in sports, whether schools put their people in sports, this growth is going to happen. And there will be some people who will take the advantage of this growth, some people who will be missing out on this growth. So this is one part. The second part is the problem which you were facing, that a hockey field not being given to. This is the problem where the government is still able to understand this, that something I build and I don't control it.
Yeah.
The governments have been working in this model that if I build something, I need to control it. The audit AG also says, if you built it, what did you do with it? So this is the basic dichotomy. The idea is, you build something, give it to a federation.
Yes.
Because ultimately the game belongs to them. Hockey doesn't belong to government.
Yes.
I can't select hockey team of India. I can't select the cricket team of India.
Right.
I mean, even the sports minister, when he goes for BCCI tournament, he is nowhere in the hierarchy, just nowhere. And same in Olympic Association, you go for a meeting. Last time in Paris Olympic, Government of India did not even send a delegation. It was the state government which sent delegations on their own. But there was no, our Government of India minister did not go for Paris Olympics. So you can imagine, the governments have nothing to do with sports. They are only facilitators. They can only provide, ultimately for anything which is good in society, government needs to get in. And I'll just end it by saying, in our opinion, this is what I've written in my book also. We did Project Tiger because environment, all these people will understand. Why did we do Project Tiger? It was not to save the tigers alone. Today we are a successful Project Tiger country mainly because if the tiger is there, the ecosystem is there. Tiger is the highest level of food chain. So if tiger is surviving, that means herbivores are surviving. If herbivores are surviving, that means the jungle is okay, the vegetations are okay, the elephant is also there, jackal is also there, leopard is also there, so everything is there. Same thing is about sports. If sports is doing well in a society, law and order is okay. Women are not feeling threatened. There is inclusion of physically challenged and differentially abled. There is society growing in a right way. We are healthy. We are not lonely. We are not lazy. There are hundreds of things which are happening automatically. It is the Project Tiger of the society.